TWM podcast.
Host Lola Bradbury. When I'm thinking who to have on to kind of raise the bar, and not the Sheamus and Cesaro one that you see on Monday Night Raw, totally different bar, his name immediately came to my mind. He is one half of the IWGP Tag Team Champions, the Killer Elite Squad. He has not only been in the ring with Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode. The list is very impressive. He is the peanut butter to Davey Boy Smith Jr.'s gel. My guest, the American Psycho, Lance Hoyt. Thank you for joining me.
No problem.
So, kind of starting off with kind of a goofy question. How did you get the moniker of the American Psycho? Were you a fan of the Christian Bale movie, or did it come about in a different way?
It kind of came about in a different way. I've seen the movie, but my American Psycho is nothing like Christian Bale's character from the movie. He's a little more within his own mind, insane, and kind of got the rich, pompous attitude going, and mine's just more, the crazy monster killer. And it really kind of came about when I was in the ECW, or WWE's ECW, Matt Striker, I have to give him credit, started trying to call me that while I was on their programming. But he was informed to stop doing it because, it wasn't the name that was created at the time by Creative Control or anything like that, so it kind of stopped then. But then when I came into Japan, it was something that I always liked, the title of the moniker, the American Psycho. So when I started with New Japan back in 2011, I pitched it to them, and they loved it, so it's kind of stuck and been there ever since.
Cool. Also, I was checking out, doing some research, and I happened to find this short film that you did on YouTube called Bump. You said, and I'm directly quoting so I don't screw, the fans are supposed to love me and hate me, that you love being the villain and feeling their hate. Growing up, did you relate more to the heroes or the villains?
Well, as far as just in general, or are you talking about through wrestling?
Either or.
I personally, I guess I had more connection with the heroes, but, my time in wrestling has always kind of put me on the heel side, the bad guy's side. So going to Japan, the formula a lot of times for the big, scary-looking gaijin is to come in and be the really big bad guy and beat up all the Japanese guys, and then eventually somebody is strong enough to fight us and take us over. It's just kind of an easy, good, ongoing story that's always existed, especially in Japanese wrestling, especially with any Americans, foreigners, gaijin, whatever you want to call us. So I've just been a bad guy for so long. I've learned to do it, I think, very well, and even into areas and territories where I guess more people would like me and want to hear me, but then I can flip the script pretty quickly and easily and change their minds pretty rapidly, and it's been fun, So it's fun being the bad one, hearing the blues and the jeers and stuff like that, and I hope that their hero can take me down.
What villain would you compare yourself to outside of your wrestling personality?
Oh, man, I don't know really, Somebody once compared me to the cartoon character Killer Croc, so I guess that's a good one.
What drew you into the world of professional wrestling? Did you ever have a backup plan, or did you just kind of set yourself and your mindset on making it?
Well, I played football through high school and into college, and that was something I really wanted to do, but it never really panned out. I really didn't even start watching wrestling until my sophomore, junior year in high school, and it was only because WCW was on Nitro on TNT in my little home. That was all I got to see. I didn't even get to watch, it was WWF back then. Not until, several years later when I could get both of them. But, I was fun, and when I got out playing ball, I still was wanting to do something that was athletically inclined. I'd become a fan of professional wrestling. I was in school at the time, ultimately graduated from Texas State University with a bachelor's in English. But while I was going to school and I was working in a nightclub in Austin, everybody knew that I was a fan of professional wrestling, and a guy had opened up a school in Austin, Texas, and the owner of my club knew the guy that opened up the wrestling school. So he made the introduction, and, the guy invited me out, did a tryout. It hurt worse than I ever thought it could possibly hurt, because I didn't truly understand what professional wrestling was all about, especially on a physical level. But, he made it financially affordable, and, kind of the rest is history. I started training and working around Texas, and then, got my break into TNA and WWE in Japan, and, I've had about 17 and a half years in this silly, crazy business called professional wrestling.
Mentioning TNA, you were in the locker room with a bunch of awesome guys around the same time as, I believe, Dusty Rhodes, Chris Samoa Joe. How did you break through into TNA, and what was the locker room like?
Ask that question, please.
You were in TNA with guys like Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, Dusty Rhodes. How did you break through into TNA, and what stuck with you about the experience?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, when I started with TNA back in March of 2004, I actually did a couple tryouts in 2003. TNA was a brand new company at the time, and it was a company that was growing, and they had some stars, guys who had name values, Road Dogg, Brian James was there, Conan, Truth, there was a lot of names, like you said, Dusty Rhodes, who was both a worker there and then also was the booker there at one time. I basically got a tryout in 2003. All those did well at those, and then in March of 2004, I was actually going for what I thought was going to be my third or fourth actual tryout. And when I showed up, I was on their board for the actual show, because they used to do the Wednesday night live pay-per-view every Wednesday out of Nashville. And I was teaming with Kid Cash, and basically, from my understanding, Kid Cash's partner, a guy named Johnny Swinger, his wife was having a baby, so he couldn't be there for the show. So they needed a partner for Kid Cash. And Val Harris, who I did one of my tryout matches, basically, he did really good with me, and he looks like a bigger version of Kid Cash. I want you to put him in there and see what he does. I did my job. I did my part, obviously. I'd like to believe in it. They actually offered me a contract that night, so that was March 2004. I was there for about 5 years, saw a lot of different people. You said I got to share the locker room with them. I like to think that they got to share the locker room with me. That's how I look at it. I'm joking. But yeah, getting to work with guys like AJ Styles, who truly is phenomenal. I think every time he's ever been in the ring, any place he's ever gone and wrestled, he proves time and time again, that he's truly phenomenal, and in my opinion, the best in the world. One of those guys didn't really want for the longest time. He was a two-time world heavyweight champion there. Probably one of the best workers they've ever had step in the ring with them. So it's cool to see his success. And then guys like Samoa Joe, who, I was already in TNA sometime before he came in, but he did obviously really well TNA now. He's doing well in WWE. Bobby Roode, a guy that was kind of a TNA lifer until recently, and now to see him and his success and what he's doing there, he's always a guy. All good guys. That's the cool part about those three guys that I mentioned, because a lot of guys have come and gone, and those three guys that are doing well, were always good human beings and obviously good wrestlers and good workers. So it was really cool to be around them, and then to be around legends like the Dusty Rhodes and the Shane Douglases and the Jerry Lynn's, and the list goes on and on and on. I'm very proud that I actually got to have a match against the legendary, great Dusty Rhodes. Me and Kid Cash versus him and James Storm. Cool experience to be able to actually wrestle against Dusty Rhodes. So my experience in my time at TNA, regardless of my true success there, was great. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot, made a lot of good friends. Monty Brown, I don't know if you remember him from TNA. He was Marcus Corvon in WWE. Became basically a brother to me, a lifelong friend. We still talk today. He still comes and stays at my house. It's still, seeing when we talk, about once a week, if not. And, it's just cool. It's kind of a brotherhood. So it was, for me, like I said, regardless of my success in the company, I consider it a good, successful 5 years of making friends and learning the business and just having a good time with a company that was growing at the time.
With the obvious change between the time you were in TNA to now being Impact Global Force Wrestling, who recently would you like to face, and would you ever consider coming back?
There are so many guys. EC3 that was in FCW when I was in FCW, so to see his success and what he's become, I got a chance to kind of work with him on an independent show like a year ago, and that was pretty cool. But to actually have something going on with him, a feud and whatnot, to see like the Bobby Lashley's, I've had a match in a general way with him one time, so it'd be fun to actually work more stuff with him. To see the Eli Drake, who's the champion right now, a guy that I'm pretty sure I've met in passing, but we've never had any shared ring time or anything like that, so that'd be a cool guy to work with as well. There's so many talented guys that have come in through that company. I wish that it could find its legs and truly find some success, but unfortunately it's had so many different hard times and changes. It's going through a change right now that, who knows what's going to happen with it in the future.
With FCW, the pre-NXT developmental, was it like from the time that you were there, and how have you seen it kind of grow and change since you left?
Well, FCW was a precursor to NXT. It was kind of the start of what the company had ultimately wanted. They've had developmental territories in the past, but developmental territories were pretty small, and the rosters were real small. The facilities were just shared facilities with other independent companies that had wrestling schools, so on and so forth. A lot of times they would have guys that were under contract and other guys that weren't under contract. Same story. Batista back in the OVW days, initially he wasn't a WWE guy. He was there, and then he got signed, and then obviously he's become the megastar wrestling that he's becoming today. But then FCW was kind of the first step towards what NXT is now. But they were working with Steve Kern, who owned FCW. FCW had a rich history in sport for championship wrestling, had been around for years. Dusty Rhodes and those guys, that's kind of where they, made their names in the business of professional wrestling back when the territories were big things. So FCW itself was, again, kind of a shared company. WWE didn't own FCW, Steve Kern did, but WWE basically funneled all its talent through. So all the guys and girls that were working in FCW were under WWE contract. We didn't share the ring with uncontracted people. And then the facility was smaller. It had one, show ring, and then they had a couple training rings, and it was a smaller facility, no weights, no training stuff other than rings and whatnot. So we were still kind of on our own, when we had to get outside of the facility and whatnot. And then obviously what it's became with the whole performance center and with I think 100 plus guys, and I don't have no clue how many women. I want to say probably around 30 to 40 women that are down there training right now to what it's truly become, a fully encompassed facility with weights and training room and rehab and media centers so that the guys and girls can practice their promos and everything that goes along with it. What FCW was a very small skeleton version of what it is today. So it was kind of the starting point to what NXT has become, but still kind of its own element, and still kind of almost that cusp between the old school developmental system and what WWE was wanting it to ultimately become.
Kind of getting into that, and just in general, what changes have you seen in the world of wrestling since you've become a part of it?
Well, the internet is such a huge tool for professional wrestling. Guys and girls are able to be seen worldwide now on a more easily, more ready basis. A company that I work with in Austin, Texas, called Commercial Circus, they promote their shows and they provide their shows live on Twitch, which initially was just a gaming channel. Now, they're on it. House of Hardcore is involved on it. The gifts that everybody shows of their matches, the short, quick, 10, 15, 20-second videos that have really helped guys and girls become kind of independent wrestling stars. Whereas before, even in my time, in that sense, making you sound old. You know, I guess. You didn't have it. The internet was there, but it was a lot harder to upload video, and it took longer to download the video and watch the video. YouTube was still kind of the main thing, but you had to load the video into YouTube, and then people had to go to YouTube and search it. Now with Twitter and Facebook and everything, heck, even now Facebook Live, there's a lot of, just last night, a good friend of mine, Tim Stone, NWA World Heavyweight Champion, he had his first match under the Billy Corgan regime, and it was live on Facebook, and that's something that didn't exist back then. So the avenues and all the different platforms that exist now for guys and girls to be seen in the business of professional wrestling is opening the world of professional wrestling in a way that it's never seen before. And I think that's part of the reason that you see the explosion of the independent wrestling scene. That's why you see the explosion of companies like New Japan. You see the explosion of a lot of the European companies that are getting big and guys that are going over there and working. It's opening up the world of professional wrestling in a way that it's never had before, because before, you had to get with WWE because they had the media outlets, they had the best internet programming and stuff like that. But the WWE Network, now New Japan, kind of function their own network called the New Japan World, and it's opened up their product to the world, and now they're expanding globally. They just did some stuff in England. We had the shows back in July that were a huge success. They've got more scheduled for March of next year, with a lot bigger plans coming, for the future as far as the U.S. market is concerned. So it's crazy to see what it has become, and interesting to see what it will possibly become.
Absolutely. It's insane, because just with me being kind of a newer wrestling fan and finding your New Japan stuff through YouTube, Twitter, it's going to evolve even more as time passes, and there's going to be so much more opportunity available to all these kind of smaller independent workers, and it's just going to grow. You mentioned Commercial Circus, which I'm a huge fan of. When were you approached by them? And being a local Texas guy, did you see it as a great opportunity to kind of be rooted back home?
Yeah, Al Liner and his wife Lexi, they've done some amazing, cool things. Actually, I was just talking to Al today. He's kind of, and I'm glad that he's done this, but he's kind of leaned on me, I guess, in that veteran sense to help him with that aspect. But his envisionment of pro wrestling has been really cool and kind of a breath of fresh air, especially for the Texas independent scene, because you've got PWG out in California, and like CZW and the bigger companies out on the East Coast, and they've had a lot of that super independent, super indie feel, where the companies are featuring some of the top talents across the world, really. And Texas hasn't had that. It's had a very strong independent wrestling scene, but it hasn't had somebody with the vision and the financial ability to bring in a lot of these top independent talents from around the country and around the world. And that's what we do. We had conversation started, and I was like, man, I'm sure the budget you're putting out there is putting you and yourself in a strain. You could probably do about half of those guys and then use the rest of Texas talent, and you would still have an amazing show and probably make you some money. And he's like, well, that would be great, and I could absolutely do that, because there is a lot of great talent in Texas, but I really want to create something that isn't happening in Texas right now. I want to give this part of the country something that they don't have, and I still want to use those Texas talent and give them a point. Guys like Sam Guevara, Keith Lee, guys that are exploding now in the wrestling scene and going farther and beyond. We're kind of starting with him at Wrestle Circus, and when he first started, he was contacting several people, and a friend of mine named Andy Dalton gave me his email, and I contacted him, and supposedly he tried to contact me through a third party, but that third party never got back to either one of us, so it was a good thing that he and I got connected. And then his first show had a lot of hiccups, because several guys, including my who, if I remember correctly, couldn't make it down for that show, and then one of the guys couldn't make it into the show, so I went from an opening match into his main event, and he didn't know much about me other than what I've done, the Texas scene and what I've done in the past, and I stepped up and did my part and helped him out, and from that point he and I've gained a really good relationship, a great working relationship, and a great friendship, and to see that what he's helped his own company become and what the future for Wrestle Circus is really cool. Like I said, now being broadcast live on Twitch, and then while I was injured, because I was out for about 7 months with an injury, with my back injury, he allowed me to ventured upon a different part of professional wrestling, and that was doing the commentary, which is a lot of fun. And that's still the last few shows that I've wrestled. I opened his show, which he and I had a conversation about, and he loves that because of the energy I bring into the show. And then as soon as I get done and I get dressed, I usually make it out for the second half and still do commentary on the show because it's been a lot of fun. And, it's something I hope to be a part of when my time in the ring ends, is to do commentary, because I've actually had a lot of fun doing it. So to see what Al has done with Wrestle Circus, what is going to be coming on, heck, they're competing directly with WWE this coming weekend. They have a show on the 18th in Austin, Texas again, but it's featuring some of the top talent around the world. Brian Cage versus Keith Lee for their heavyweight title. There's so many of them. Zack Sabre Jr., Matt Riddle, I think is going to be on the show. I mean, I could name go on and on. Go check out Wrestle Circus on Twitter, and you'll see the card. They're producing probably one of the best super shows that you'll ever see, especially in this part of the country.
I remember when I first watched Wrestle Circus for the first time, I remember hearing the commentary, and that was kind of my first introduction to you. And this sounds bad on my part, you sounded a lot like Sami Callihan, and I didn't know that was him on commentary. And then someone told me, it's Lance Archer. And I was like, holy crap, this guy is hilarious. I love your commentary. It's one of the best things about Wrestle Circus. Whenever you have that high energy, yeah, absolutely. You have that high energy and you bring that kind of comedic value. And it's awesome to listen to.
I appreciate it.
Kind of putting you on the spot with Wrestle Circus. Is there one that you would like to see in me, or is there anyone who you would like to challenge?
For me personally, as far as, I don't have a list. There's a lot of guys that have put out lists. These are people that I don't wrestle and whatnot. I've been lucky and blessed to be in this business, like I said, for 17 and a half years, wrestling for TNA, WWE, now New Japan, Ring of Honor. I've been down to AAA. I've traveled around the world. So I've had an opportunity to wrestle so many amazing people and do so many amazing things. There's not like one specific person that I would like to see in the company or that I would like to wrestle myself, but there are so many amazing talents,
TWM podcasts are brought to you by We Love Sport, the fantastic app finding you your nearest sports bar showing the latest WWE pay-per-views. We Love Sport has over 400 of the best sports bars and pubs in the UK at your fingertips and allows you to book front row seats, giving you the best views of the action. You can also check out what sports are being shown over the next 7 days, making sure you don't miss a second of the action. Download the We Love Sport app on the App Store or Google Play Store. Follow We Love Sport on all social media platforms at We Love Sport UK and check out welovesport.co.
TWM podcasts have joined forces with WrestleCrate, the original and best monthly theme, monthly wrestling subscription service to bring you a fantastic deal. If you use the code TWM Wrestling when you sign up to a monthly subscription at WrestleCrate.co.uk, you will receive a free item in your first month's box. Then, if you stay for another month, you'll get a second free item. And then, if you stay for a third month, you guessed it, we'll give you a third free item. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. WrestleCrate brings you the best swag from the biggest companies and names in the wrestling world. We're talking t-shirts, photos, pins, DVDs, vinyl figures, and loads more from WWE, Progress, Shikara, NXT, Fight Club Pro, and loads more. That's WrestleCrate.co.uk and use the code TWM Wrestling for up to free items, all thanks to WrestleCrate and TWM.
I just had a match at another small company called Branded Outlaw Wrestling in San Antonio with a guy named calls himself Mr. 450, Mecha Wolf. And he and I had, for the size difference and whatnot, we had an amazing, fun, cool, strong, punch each other in the mouth and give people something they didn't expect match. And it would be fun to do that or have that match, on Wrestle. And that's my style. I'm usually kind of a very straightforward, punch in your mouth, make you believe what I'm doing in the ring is real. And those are the kind of matches that I like to have. So, I think there's so many guys out there with so much talent, but I'm not a spot monkey. So I'm going to make you believe what I'm doing. And that's the kind of style that I usually work with, which may or may not be the 2017 mantra for professional wrestling, but it's something that I enjoy doing. And every time I step in the ring, everybody goes, damn, okay.
When you said about the 2017 mindset, there's a lot of people, what I've noticed as a newer wrestling fan, and I know I keep saying that, from going back and watching the older stuff, like the older TNA, there's a lot kind of independent wrestling just for the spot monkeys, just putting on a show and kind of just not really wrestling, I guess you could say. What do you feel would change those people's minds about independent wrestling in 2017?
Are you talking about the fan base, or are you talking about the wrestlers themselves?
The fan base.
I don't know. It is, I seminar sometimes, and I teach classes when I'm in town. There's a company in Dallas. It's a small company called NPX, and they allow me a lot of opportunity to get myself back in ring shape, but I work with a lot of the students down there as well. To change the mindset of the fans, you have to change the mindset of the workers. And, I always tell guys and girls, if and when you're wrestling, you want them to remember you, not the moves you do. And the thing is like, you bring up the Undertakers and guys like that, and the Johnson, the biggest names in the Shawn Michaels. I mean, the list goes on, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and guys like this. They were all good workers, but it wasn't because of the crazy cool spots they did. It was because of the character and the personality and the emotion that they were able to draw the audience that makes them legends forever in this business, icons in this business, Hall of Famers in this business. And a lot of the guys and girls today, because of the internet, we were talking about that earlier, I say it's kind of a GIF or GIF, I don't know how, some people choose to say it. It's a day and age of the GIF, I don't know how else I was trying to say that, where, again, you see that 15, 20 seconds, you see that amazing, cool sequence of moves and spots and whatnot. And unfortunately, in my opinion, though, again, my opinion may kind of get old school one, is that if you can do that spot and it's fast and it's cool and it's impactful and everybody goes, holy crap, that was an amazing move, that was an amazing spot, that was an amazing moment, that's great. But if somebody comes along right after you or the next night or the next week and does the exact same thing but faster and stronger and better, well, now they're the ones that are going to be the ones that people think of and see. But then again, if it changes the next week, so I always tell guys and girls, if you can create a character, a personality that makes people emotionally care about you so that when you leave the show, they remember your name, not the moves you did, then you'll be the one that they'll want to see week after week, time after time, month after month, year after year. And whenever you do things, they'll love you for it because they wanted to see you. They'll remember who you are, not the moves you did. And I think that's what would need to be changed, is that guys and girls would have to want to truly create personalities. I'll bring up a guy that's completely out of my realm. His style of wrestling is anything I do, would do, can do, or whatever. But I think he's somebody that's truly built a personality and a name. You don't remember necessarily that he does. He does have some unique moves in that, but because of his personality and his style, those moves that he does make you remember it forever, and that's Joey Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Joey Ryan's created a personality in the super sleeves and everything he does, the King of the Dong style, and all the things he does. It plays into his character. It's not just moves that other people do and can do, because he could if he wanted to do that stuff, but he's making a career and working and traveling and part of everything everywhere that you see right now in the independent wrestling scene based on the character he has. Again, it's not my style. I mean, I would never step out in the ring and do what he does. That's not who I am. But he's doing it, beautifully, and he's making a name for himself. People look for and they ask for and they talk about Joey Ryan. They don't talk about Joey Ryan's moves. They talk about Joey Ryan. And that's something that I think a lot of guys and girls don't do these days. And if more people did like he did, again, I'm not saying do what he's doing, but do like he's done in the sense of creating that personality and that character that everybody can't forget, that would help change the mindset of the fans, because then they would get more emotionally involved and more, in the stories that these guys and girls are bringing rather than just the moves that they're doing.
And about the creating a character and making the fans care, I've said it all along since I started watching. It's, yes, you can have a fantastic match, but if there's no story and, the people that are involved, if they have no developed character, then it makes me uninterested. It makes me not really care. And that's kind of a double-edged sword, too, because you have your Joey Ryans, you have just everyone in general in the independent scene, and it's one thing is people are always going to be nitpicky and find something to kind of be offended or upset about. And especially with Joey Ryan, because we both know what his gimmick is. It's mind-blowing to me because, yeah, you have people that are nitpicky, but if these people are, have this huge fan base, then it proves them wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of getting into the New Japan stuff, who has been, with the exception of Davey Boy Smith Jr., who has been your favorite person to tag with?
In New Japan or just in general?
In general.
I don't know. I've had some really fun, cool tag partners throughout my career. TNA, I started with Kid Cash. I teamed with Ron Truth Killings for a while, and then obviously finished up my time at TNA with Jimmy Rave. And then in WWE, I got to team with Kurt Hawkins, and then obviously what I've done in New Japan. I've teamed. Another guy I teamed with in Japan who unfortunately has seen an injury kind of take him out of everything is Takayama. He was a legend within Japanese wrestling and wrestling in particular, and people who are fight fans remember him and Down Fry standing in a corner just hockey punching each other in the face to the point that it was just insane. He suffered an injury, but he's probably one of my favorite world. And then obviously the time that I've had with Smith and the success we've had since 2012 is the Killer Elite Squad. The most fun outside of Davey, I would just have to say be Jimmy Rave, just because of the gimmick. I was saying I couldn't do what Joey Ryan does. Well, the Rock and Rave infection, I was a drunk rock star pretending to play a fake, Guitar Hero guitar. So I guess that was kind of close in that sense. And it was a lot of fun. To this day, people still, and oh man, they figure it out. They're like, you were Rock and Rave. That was so funny. I love that. It was such a silly gimmick, and we didn't even do a whole lot. But, people still to this day remember it. So it was a lot of fun teaming with Jimmy back then for that.
What has been your most memorable experience in New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Oh man, you're asking a question that's really hard to answer considering all the amazing things that I've gotten to do there. I would have to say my first Wrestle Kingdom experience, 2013, because Smith and I were the champions and we'd gone into the Tokyo Dome as the IWGP Tag Champions for the first time. And that's the fun thing about right now, new fans of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the fact that we're the champions and people are going, where did these guys come from? Why'd they put them together? How, not realizing the history that we carry. And this was, like I said, the Wrestle Kingdom back in 2013, and we defended successfully our titles against Carl Anderson and Hiro Goto, but I got to ride a motorcycle because unfortunately the situation panned out where Smith wasn't able to ride one, but I actually got to ride a Harley into the Tokyo Dome, and it was a really, really cool experience. Actually, both Smith and I both rode Harleys. We ultimately lost the IWGP tag titles that year, but the first year, like I said, because it was my first one, and we successfully defended them, and I got to ride a motorcycle into the Tokyo Dome in front of 40,000 plus people. It was one of the coolest times and experiences in my career. So I guess that would probably have to be my best one, just based on the experience.
With New Japan too, unfortunately I don't keep up with it as much as I would like to, but one thing I have noticed with your Kingdoms, just in the videos, back to the kind of internet thing and what it's made possible, just the energy alone, just watching the entrances gives you goosebumps, whether you're a wrestler or a fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I still have video of them on my phone from the year that Tanahashi and Shinsuke main evented Wrestle Kingdom, and just the entrance that had coming out. It was really cool. Tanahashi had the guitar of Megadeth come out and play his entrance music. Just really cool experiences.
from working with the notorious Minoru Suzuki, guys like Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, Shinsuke Nakamura, how have each of them changed you not only as a competitor, but as a wrestler?
I just think each and every one of them challenged me in ways that made me see my own ability. You know, every time that I've had a chance to step in the ring with different guys, they bring something different to the table. And as good as each and every one of those people that you just mentioned are, but in different ways, it makes me change my game, because regardless of what some people's opinions in this business might be of me and my ability to wrestle or not, I've stuck around with the second largest company in the world that's traditionally based on your ability to wrestle, and that's New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, to stick around since to be a part of the company since 2011, I'd have to believe in myself to say that I'm actually an okay wrestler. But each and every time that I had a chance to step in the ring with them, you know, like you said, the Andersons and the Shinskes and the Tanahashis and even AJ when he was there, just every one of those guys that we can mention. Makabe was a guy that I wrestled many times when I first started in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He helped change my game completely, you know, from anything I had been at any point in my career. I say to guys in the girls all the time, if I had the opportunity to do what I'm now in New Japan before I went to WWE my first time, I think it would be a very big story in how my career is playing out. I wasn't ready at the time to be in WWE, but if I'd gotten to Japan like I'm doing now and then gone to WWE, I think it would have been a very different story.
How do you mentally prepare for a match, and how would you describe the chemistry that you have with Baby?
You know, it's, I think the cool thing about Baby and I, you know, we're two guys that ultimately, we have members in WWE, obviously they just more successful than mine, but both of us were looking to make names for ourselves in business. You know, I've been there since 2012, so New Japan, and then New Japan 12, I got there when we came in 2012, they decided together, and we were both being really wanted to be successful with the opportunity that we were given, so we both wanted to work together to make Killer Elite Squad something special within the business, and I think that's what's helped kind of create and keep that good chemistry going with all the success we've had. 3 times IWGP, 2 times New GHC, 2 times NWA World Tag. You know, and it's been an experience working with them again because it's been pretty unselfish about the fact that keep over the ring for a match. You know, it just depends on the situation, the match that's given to us, whether it's a title match, whether it's something more simple, things like that. I think players and anybody needs preparation for any kind of a match. Obviously, if it's a bigger match on a bigger stage, you kind of mentally prepare for it more. Is it for titles? Is it not for titles? So on and so forth. You know, I mean, you kind of know going in what people are expecting of you in that match. I think most people who are on the top level of business or any part of professional wrestling, when they're given an opportunity and they know what people kind of expect, mentally they try to prepare themselves to do more, to do better, to be so much more than what's expected of them, and that's kind of what I do as far as preparing for a match. It's like, you know, I know what people are expecting of me, and I want to come out of this and make people go, holy crap, I didn't see that coming, I didn't expect that from him, and that was awesome. That's kind of when I mentally prepare for a match.
One of my absolute favorite matches were actually at this past Ring of Honor Global Wars Chicago when you faced Jay Lethal, Kenny King, and Shane Taylor, I believe. With a company like Ring of Honor, having that kind of working relationship between Ring of Honor and New Japan, would you like to come back to Ring of Honor as a solo competitor?
Yeah, sure. You know, I mean, especially with what Smith and I are doing, shit that exists with New Japan and Ring of Honor, it's probably not something that's going to happen. I think if at some point in the future, for some reason, New Japan decided to give Smith and I our opportunities as a singles competitor, then I think you might see that even in Ring of Honor. But right now, with the fact that we're, you know, both in a very strong tag team at that, you know, the champions right now, I don't know if I ever see that happening again until we get the opportunity to see those guys. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's several guys. I'd love to work with Punishment. I think that'd be a match that, you know, Ring of Honor really has never seen before. 2 extremely large, true heavyweights in this business going toe-to-toe, head-to-head, and see what happens and something like that, especially in an environment like Ring of Honor.
Mentioning Punishment Martinez, is there anybody else that you've kind of had your eye on in Ring of Honor?
Specifically, every single one of those guys are so talented. I've had opportunities to work with like Christian Bale, Frank Kazarian in my time at TNA. Obviously, Jay Lethal and what he's been able to do at his time in Ring of Honor. It'd be fun to work with him in singles capacity. We've done all this before. Like I said, on the independents and in TNA and stuff like that. I just mentioned Punishment because it's a guy that I've never actually worked with before. But a lot of the guys that are in Ring of Honor now, at some point in my career, I've had the opportunity to work with. It's been a lot of fun working again, with War Machine, and we've wrestled them in Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Noah, and now obviously New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we kind of battle them in all these major companies around the world, and it's been a lot of fun wrestling those guys. So there's so many amazing good talents in the world of professional wrestling today and in Ring of Honor, so it's fun to do that. But, first and foremost, who's the champion? Cody Rhodes. The American Psycho versus the American. I think that's an easy build match, but, I think he and they are a little bit afraid of that, so that's cool.
I would love to see you throw down with Cody Rhodes for sure.
He may not enjoy it, but I would.
Would you kiss the ring, though? That's the question.
No. I'd make him kiss his own ring as I punched him in the face with it.
Kind of wrapping things up, what are some of the differences that between each company that you've been in, and is there any memorable advice that you've been given throughout your career?
Oh man, again, I've been lucky and blessed to work in this business for a good long time with the major companies that exist in this business. Like I said, from TNA, WWE, now into New Japan, and working with Ring of Honor and everything that's going on. I think the most memorable advice that I've received in my time in this business, so much from so many legends in this business, has really been in my time in Japan. And it was kind of what helped me find, again, what I should have always been in the world of professional wrestling. I started there, and it's so funny you talk about the language barriers and things like that. And, I'd go out there and have these matches, and again, I knew kind of what they wanted from me, so I always tried to give them that and something more. But I would come back from the curtains, and the people that were in control of things would be like, very good, but we want more monster. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you more monster. I'll give you more monster. And they're like, yeah, good, very good monster, but more monster. And so that advice helped me open up, helped me gain confidence. And confidence is such a huge key in life, really, but especially in the business of professional wrestling, because if you're confident in yourself and what you're doing, you're going to help make the fans and the people believe in what you're doing. And if you don't have that confidence, it's kind of hard to capture people's attention and make them good time and believe in what you're doing. And that advice, that more monster, we want more monster, that was constantly given to me and constantly put on me, and it was never in a negative sense. It was never, no, don't do this, no, don't do that. It was always like, good, but more monster. So that more monster advice was probably something that helped me truly become the American Psycho and become what I am today, what I always should have been in the business. And it's allowed me to have a lot of fun in professional wrestling in the last 6 years I've been in New Japan.
Is there any last final words you would like to say, or anything that you would like to plug?
I think it's coming around, and it's a lot of fun to see it kind of changing in a positive way. And things I've said in the past, as far as fans are concerned, the fans are the lifeblood of this business. Without them, we don't exist. We want them, we need them, we love them, and we hope they love us. But this day and age seems to be a negative-driven age. Like you go on Twitter or Facebook or anywhere, you watch the news, and everything is so negative. But professional wrestling can be so much fun. And what I challenge the fans to do, and I challenge the wrestlers to do, but I think it's starting to come around in a good way where everybody is kind of doing that, is have fun, enjoy the business. Don't watch something so that you can break it down and say something negative about it. Don't watch WWE just so that you can go, well, that guy sucks. I don't understand why he's there. He's horrible. She's horrible. She sucks. Don't do that. Have fun. find the guys and girls that you enjoy watching and just enjoy it. If there's something you don't like about what you're watching, then change the channel at that point. Come back to it later when your guys or your girls are working their butts off. Because every time you go steps in that working their butt off for those fans, and without them, and without them having fun, and without them driving the business forward, there's no chance for any of us. And if it goes away, then nobody gets to have fun. So I challenge the fans and the workers both to have fun. Don't look for the negative, look for the positive, and enjoy what you're doing, enjoy what you're watching, and together, the fans and the workers, we can all make this business a lot of fun. Like I said, I see it in a positive, much more positive light today because of the independency of the next game. But if that goes in, and the sky's the limit for what professional wrestling can become for the workers and the fans and everybody that's involved. And then as far as, plugs, obviously my social medias that exist, at Lance Hoyt on Twitter. Lance Hoyt is my open Facebook. The American Psycho Lance Hoyt is a fan page I have. Go and like it. Hoyt77, I think is my Instagram name. I can't remember exactly. Go check out some of the pictures. I've been doing the 12 days leading up to the league, where each day, today was, I think, the 6th day of Killers March to playoff for 12 days of Christmas. So go check them out, enjoy them, hit me up, send me a message, and if it's not a dumb message, I'll reply back. If it's dumb and I don't reply back to you, it's your fault.